So in order to work the seed stitch, you'll need to cast on an odd number of stitches. This can be worked in odd or even, but if you want the stitch pattern to be centered, cast on an odd number of stitches. And since we're working this flat, it's a 2-row repeat. We're going to work a repeat of a knit 1, purl 1 until you have 1 stitch left, which you will knit. And we're going to knit the first stitch. As you go into it, you're only catching the front loop. And the right hand needle should be underneath the left. Yarn over from front to back, kind of hold onto it with your index finger, pull that through, slide that stitch off your left hand needle, and now you're going to bring your yarn in between your needles to the front. And next we're going to go into the front loop of the next stitch on your left hand needle. And if we look at the stitch on our needle, it has a front loop and a back loop. We're going to go into just the front loop from right to left. It should look like this, with your right hand needle on top of your left. Go ahead and bring your yarn over your right hand needle from front to back, pull that through, and then slide it off your left hand needle, and then bring your yarn again in between your needles to the back. And you're going to repeat those 2 steps until you have 1 stitch left on your left hand needle. So if we look at the next stitch on our left hand needle, it has a front loop and a back loop. I'm going to go into it so I just get the front loop. So from the side, it looks like this. I'm just getting the front loop here. And the right hand needle should be underneath the left. Yarn over, pull that through, slide off. Bring the yarn in between your needles to the front. Again, the next stitch, the front loop of it and the back loop of it. I go into just the front loop from right to left. Yarn over, pull through, slide off. Bring the yarn in between the needles to the back. And when you get down to the final stitch on your left hand needle, looks a little bit wonky, but you still have that front loop and the back loop. You go into just the front loop, yarn over, pull through, slide off. Turn your work, which just means that you flip it, bring your yarn around to the back. And for row 2, you're just going to repeat the same thing that we just did, where you knit 1, purl 1 until you have 1 stitch left, which you will knit.